Welcome, Aruna ji.
Thank you, Gaurav. Thank
Our chairperson, Uno Oswal, is here. Welcome, Rajat ji.
Hi, Gaurav ji. How are you?
Morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah. Aruna ji, our ambassador in Nigeria is here, Excellency.
We welcome our Excellency.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Thanks for coming in. Thank you very much to join us.
My pleasure.
We have Wing Commander Praful Bakshi here.
Good morning.
Rahul ji.
Yes, ma'am.
Welcome to our webinar. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. His Excellency, Wing Commander Bakshi here. Good morning to you.
My pleasure, sir.
In meanwhile, people are joining. Let's share about each other. And Mr. Rajat Sharma is founder of Indian Diaspora Club. Rajat ji, tell about you.
Hi, ma'am. How are you?
Yes, Rajat, welcome to our webinar.
Hi, ma'am. How are you, ji?
Very fine.
How are you, sir?
Good.
Yeah. It's been a long time, ma'am.
I know. See all of you. That's great.
I will beg your, I will crave your indulgence. We're in the process of organizing the evacuation of Nigerians back home. So as we are doing this webinar, I will be exchanging communications on my phone with the Indian authorities and the Nigerians and the airline as they come. So I don't want you to take it that it is distraction. It's simply that that is a priority for me right now.
No worries, Excellency. Thank you.
That's itself great. Very good. Yeah.
Right. Okay, carry on.
Today I know is a busy day. It's a Eid also. So people are busy and celebrating Eid also. Many people have given their regret. So we wish everybody happy Eid also.
I think 14 minutes left. People will join soon. Yeah.
Okay. See what I'm reading.
Oh, Subhash, girls.
Yeah.
Our mother will be the happiest person. Commander, our Excellency is also Major General.
Oh, who? You mean
yes, I know.
Yeah. He's also from your.
I know His Excellency. He's a former Major General, and he's ambassador here, and I met him.
Yeah, I remember. Sorry, a call just came.
Yes, he is.
Please, Excellency.
Hello.
Hello.
Rajat ji, please share about your next plan, what you are doing next week.
Sir, on 29th, we are organizing one webinar with Sanjay Bhattacharya ji.
Louder. Little louder.
Okay. We are organizing a webinar on 29th this May, where our MEA Minister, Jaishankar ji, will be there. Secretary CPV, Sanjay Bhattacharya ji, and my mentor, Mule sir, will be there. So we are organizing on COVID-19. It will be live on radio channel in US. We have got the slot of 9 p.m.
9 p.m.
Yeah, 9 p.m.
Yeah, I mean, what COVID-19 has. COVID-19 has so many facets. It has political, economic, medical, whatever. So which one are you focusing on?
Sorry, pardon?
Which aspect of COVID-19 are you focusing on? Is it economic?
We are, as we are dealing with the Indian diaspora, so it's in both ways, right? So people are residing overseas, what they feel about, how they can contribute in India, even though how Indian government can,
Oh, okay. All right.
That's why we got a MEA Minister, Jaishankar ji will be there, so that they can.
Okay, so you want me to watch or you want me to key in or what?
No. It's a two ways together, sir.
Okay, well, okay, thank you very much. We'll concentrate on this one and see how this goes.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's see.
Because we have 25,000 NRIs and PIOs with us in this diaspora. We are the one, yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. So I'm with you when, okay, the seminar will begin.
We still have 11 minutes actually.
Okay, yeah. All right. Okay, fine. I'm with you.
Welcome, Mr. KL Malhotra ji.
मल्होत्रा जी ज्वाइन हो गए?
हाँ, हो गए. यार वो फेसबुक पर पजूल लग गया, मैंने लाइव करा था. चल नहीं रहा ना, माउस में परेशान हो रहा हूँ. थोड़ा कर दो, आवाज कम है. साइन आउट कर दो, वापस कर दो. साइन आउट करो, वापस जाओ. Yeah. Excellency of Zimbabwe person is here only. We are expecting him.
Okay.
मम्मी इसको बोलो मेरी मीटिंग स्टार्ट हो गई है. मम्मा चल बात करो.
Everybody, मल्होत्रा जी, वेलकम यू. अभी हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर विनोद वर्मा आ गए, बम्बानी जी आ गए.
Gaurav,
Madam.
how many participants you are expecting today?
We cannot say, but we expect 50, and it is also live on Facebook. So Facebook, it is already started on Facebook Live.
Okay.
So we will expecting more than 200 to 5 people there.
Okay, fine. ठीक है. आपने
Already
अपने
there. I am there. How are you?
Yes, good morning, everybody.
Good morning. A very warm good morning to everyone.
good morning to all who are joining.
We cannot see you.
Yeah, actually, my all.
Malhotra ji, good morning.
Very good morning to all of you, sir, madam, and
Yes,
participants.
How are you?
great.
Excellency, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Fine. So nice of you. You are here.
Yeah.
He is well before time. He is very punctual. He is Major General, so he knows the value of the time. And same the Wing Commander Bakshi. They are before time. Captain Preeti is there. Welcome, Captain Preeti.
Thank you.
Captain Preeti, welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. How are you?
Very fine.
I should have praised Captain Preeti. She is doing a wonderful job taking the flight in this COVID pandemic.
Yes, I had got all the images and everything. We are proud of her. And from
Thank
today,
you.
it already started the flights, hopefully. Domestic flights have started today. Yeah.
Yes, but international will start from August, and I just gave my test for COVID-19. We have to undergo test, and then after screening again, we are being rostered for the repatriation flights. So
Okay.
just now, when I was in the meeting, the sample collection was here.
Okay.
I'll just share the
Okay.
images.
Great.
Thank you.
All the
Yeah.
best. You will have big savior to all. You have taken flight to Middle East.
Yes, Middle East mostly. So
Great.
thank you so much. I need all your prayers so that whatever little I'm entrusted with, I do it with a lot of pride and a lot of safety.
Yes.
Yes, Ambassador Zimbabwe is here, Excellency. Your picture was there, but now he's setting up. Welcome, Excellency. Dr. Vinod Verma, good morning.
Good morning. Very good morning, Gauravji.
Yes.
Ma'am, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Yes, good morning, Dr. Sandeep Marwa.
Yeah. Welcome him.
Welcome, Dr. Sandeep Marwa.
Good morning. How are you?
Very good
Fine,
morning.
sir. Always pleasure to see you. Smiling face.
All right. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Call you our daily Bollywood face.
Sandeep, good morning.
Oh, morning.
Here.
Bakshi Sahab, how are you, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you, sir?
Oh, His Excellency, how are you?
It's
What a
great,
pleasure.
it's great to see you, sir.
Always, always.
And you're looking very, very, very beautiful as always.
We are here for Nigeria, sir.
Okay.
Yes, Ambassador Zimbabwe. His person is here. We cannot see Excellency.
अरे क्या हो गया इसको?
अभी 2-4 मिनट है.
हाँ, आप बताओ, ये बताइए, आप चिट-चैट करते रहिए, सबको वेलकम करते रहिए, जितने आते रहेंगे मैं इंट्रोड्यूस करता रहूंगा. Mr. Bakshi, we can start with you also. We want to hear always. We always pleased to listen from you.
Yes, I would be grateful, very happy. We have very eminent personalities present out here, especially from the African nations. We have our very eminent His Excellency from Nigeria.
Zimbabwe is also here.
Zimbabwe is there, and they are all, I mean to say, These are the countries. I'm very small person to even talk about these nations with so much of resources and so much of wealth with them that sometimes I feel the humanity feels humbled when they look at Africa. But I'm very sorry to say, I would like to bring out some points which probably you may have heard. Some people may feel it little, out of place, but I personally feel
Gaurav,
that one must realize.
the proper way first.
No, definitely we'll start. We're waiting at. It is 1 minute to start 11.
Wait.
Yeah, that is as a protocol, continue with the protocol.
Surely.
ये बस ऐसे ही चलता रहे ना।
हाँ, 2 मिनट
पहले अगर बोलना हो तो
नहीं फुल हो गया ना, हो जाएगा फुल रास्ते आते आते हो जाएगा.
Just wait for 5 minutes, then you can do it because लोग log in कर रहे हैं अभी. Let them log in, ना? At least 5 minutes we should wait. Wait for 5 minutes, Gaurav. No problem.
Yeah. We have to welcome Mr. Subhash Goel.
Come, na? Yeah.
Subhash Goel ji, welcome.
Sandeep ji join किए हैं अभी. Good morning, Sandeep ji.
Sandeep Marwa is there. Yeah.
Gaurav ji.
Good morning ji. Very good morning.
Good morning, Subhash ji. Good morning.
Good morning ji.
Good morning. Namaste. Good morning.
नमस्ते जी नमस्ते.
मैं भी सोच रहे सूट ही पा के आ जाइए.
ਉਹ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਪਰਸਨੈਲਿਟੀ ਇੰਨੀ ਜ਼ਬਰਦਸਤ ਹੈ, ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦਰਜੀ ਦਾ सहारा लेना पैंदा है. गोयल साहब का शाम का इंटरव्यू बहुत बढ़िया था टीवी चैनल पे. अच्छा कौन?
गुड मॉर्निंग अरुणा दीदी.
Good morning. Good morning.
जय श्री शुक्ला.
अरे वाह क्या बात है.
Hello.
I'm happy you have joined.
Hello.
Yes.
He's from Vadodara. She's joined from my district. Jai Shri. Wow.
East Africa, please.
I'm so happy.
Yeah.
Sorry,
thank you, ma'am.
We would like to welcome our line Namdari ji from Hyderabad, Council of Lesotho.
Surinder Malhotra ji, yes.
We like to welcome Mr. KL Ganju.
Malhotra ji आ गए?
हाँ मल्होत्रा जी आ गए जी.
Ganju साहब नमस्कार.
We are to welcome Mr. KL Ganju ji. We like to welcome Ambassador of Zambia, Excellency, welcome. Hello. We like to welcome our IFS Joint Secretary, Mr. Singhvi. Welcome, sir.
गुप्ता जी मैं भी आ गया हूँ.
Sir,
गुप्ता जी मैं भी आया हूँ.
Sir, we'll take.
Welcome to
everybody. Malhotra ji, let's start. We can start. We have Excellency with us. We have our IFS speaker with us. Lot of friends are there. Ambassador of Zimbabwe is here. Zambia is here. Nigeria is here. Comoros is here. So let's start.
2 minutes more.
I think you should wait for 2 minutes more.
Yeah, 2 minutes more. Yeah, till 11:05.
So we can say hello to everybody.
हाँ, say just fellowship कर लो थोड़ा अभी. 11:05 पे start करेंगे.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 11:02 now. 3 minutes to go.
Everybody. Happy Eid to everybody.
Yeah, happy.
Sandeep ji, good morning.
Sir, good morning.
How are you?
Fantastic.
Sir, good morning.
Fantastic. Lovely. It cannot be better after seeing such important people on the floor. Wonderful.
Well, sir, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
This auditorium is full of energy now.
Good morning. Everybody, good morning.
See our chairperson.
Bhamani ji, good morning.
Goel Saab, good morning. Madam, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, madam.
Namaste. Good morning.
Namaste. Namaste.
મેં મેસેજ તો કર્યો જાંબો everybody. પછી જરાક આમ સીધું આમ હજી તો જોઈ
Jayashri, sorry for late information, but I try to, convey everybody. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am, I got your message.
I know, but it was late. I know in the morning only I did it. I thought, let me send the message. If anybody can join, let them join.
Right. And the extra charm and attraction was that East Africa is my birthplace, ma'am.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Where in East Africa?
Tanzania, sir.
Oh, Tanzania is good.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's like, coming back to home.
Yes, true. We welcome you at home.
Thank you so much, ma'am. आप तो मेरे हर होम में शामिल हो, मैम. Rather, आपके हर होम में हम शामिल हैं.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
With all your good wishes and
We would like to hear from our IFS. Sir, please introduce yourself more because tell me.
Hello.
Yes.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Mahavir Singhvi. I'm Joint Secretary Counterterrorism right now, but I have handled earlier Africa as a director, East and South Africa, Southern Africa. Few years back, before becoming Joint Secretary in the ministry. Good morning to you all, all friends and
Singhvi
excellencies.
sir, good morning. I'm KL Ganju speaking.
Ganju sir, good morning. How are you doing?
I'm fine, sir. How are you? And I hope everything is okay.
Absolutely, absolutely well.
God bless you, sir.
Now we would like to welcome our special chief guest, our member of parliament, Mr. Alfonso. He's here. He's just joining us.
आया phones जब तक रेडी हो जाए.
He is our former Minister of Tourism and Culture also. Welcome, Mr. Manish. Mr.
Thank you,
Jinesh Baroda. संदीप जी आप एक लाइन सुना सकते हैं जब तक अल्फांसो ज्वाइन कर रहे हैं. I can see him joining.
जी मतलब you don't expect me to sing.
No,
Why not? You're in the film industry, boss.
Wonderful. The board is so powerful right now, very interesting, and I'm very eager and anxious to listen to everyone. But I'm recollecting one small line कि राज़े उल्फत छुपा के देख लिया, राज़े उल्फत छुपा के देख लिया, दिल बहुत कुछ जला के देख लिया, और क्या देखने को बाकी है, आपसे दिल लगा के देख लिया. I mean, like,
Wow.
Put it into English that we have done our best, we have tried our best, we have spent time, labor, resources, money, efforts, and the net result now is that we are in love with Africa.
Let us begin.
Yes, Malata ji, Excellency is trying to join our member of parliament. I'm just waiting for him only.
I'm very happy that I have touched almost 40 countries in Africa out of 50 countries we have.
We'd like to welcome our IRS friend, Mr. Dr. Castro, who was yesterday with us also. He is IRS, a Joint Income Tax Commissioner, and he is into this PPE kit. PPE kit making the team, admin team. Welcome, Mr. Castro, Dr. Castro. And welcome, Mr. Alfonso. Happy Eid. Namaskar, sir.
Namaskar, how are you?
Fine. Very
good morning, sir.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody.
Happy Eid, sir.
Happy Eid. Yes, may there be peace in the world, in our hearts. In our hearts.
Yes.
Now, Malata ji, it's time to lead. Please. मल्होत्रा जी आप शुरू करें. मल्होत्रा जी अनम्यूट. मल्होत्रा जी लेट्स स्टार्ट. आप अनम्यूट करो मल्होत्रा जी.
ने हमको भी म्यूट कर दिया.
मल्होत्रा जी ने म्यूट कर दिया.
हो गया. It's okay now.
या मल्होत्रा जी स्टार्ट करें.
Can't hear Malhotra ji. Tell him to unmute.
फेसबुक का भी
Tell him to unmute himself.
मल्होत्रा जी प्लीज.
आने वाला है उसको भी एक्टिवेट कर देते हैं.
उनको कॉल करो, अनम्यूट करें अपने आप को.
मल्होत्रा जी आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही.
कोई बात नहीं, कोई बात नहीं, आप कोई बात नहीं सर, ठीक है, डन. अब समझ गए. पहले
अनम्यूट करिए अपने आप को, अनम्यूट करो आप. आपकी आवाज नहीं आ रही है.
आपने जो ये रेट दिया है B2B का दिया हुआ है, B2C का दिया हुआ है, मतलब जो ऑलरेडी लिफ्ट वाले हैं उनको भी.
मल्होत्रा जी आप अनम्यूट करें.
चलिए मल्होत्रा जी शुरू करिए. हेलो हेलो.
सबको म्यूट कर दिया हुआ आपने. हमको भी म्यूट किया.
I'm good.
We can't unmute ना ourselves. हमें मत ना म्यूट.
आप खुले हुए. अरुण जी आप स्टार्ट करें. मल्होत्रा जी को नहीं सुनेगा.
Okay. Hello everyone. Happy to all our Muslim friends. On behalf of ICHR, I would like to welcome all the diplomats, panelists, government officials, ministers, Member of Parliament Alfonso Zi, and our members to commemorate Africa Day and India-Africa Partnership Pandemic and beyond. Would like to thank Malhotra ji and Gaurav Gupta for taking this initiative. Africa Day continues to be celebrated with some theme every year. I can recollect the 2015 being the year of women's empowerment and development towards Africa's Agenda 2063. At an event in New York in 2015, Deputy Secretary General of the United States, Jan Ellison, delivered a message from Secretary General Ban Ki-moon in which he said, our efforts to provide Africa's women with better access to education, work, and healthcare. Would like to tell here to our panelists and esteemed guests that as a past international director and a board of trustees to Lions Club International Foundation, we Lions build bridges and relations with partnership projects for women and children in all the continents of Africa, which includes microfinance, mammography machines, ENT Center for Children, eye hospitals, and Center for Pediatric Cancer. I'm proud to say that our family trust, Aruna B. Oswald Trust, has partnered with Africa Lions in these projects with our international foundation Lions in Nairobi, Kenya. And I would like to say here, even Carter Center has done wonderful work in the continent of Africa for the eradication of trachoma and river blindness. Friends, I would like to inform all the panelists and the esteemed guests here that our ICHR, Indian Council of Human Relations, apart from diplomatic events and interfaith seminars, we have entered into a social cause for children. We are doing so much work for children, and we have named this project CIP, Empowering Children. So I'm very happy that our members have always contributed and came forward for this cause. I would like to thank all my ICHR members for their wholehearted support to this cause. Friends, we are so happy today that even COVID-19 is there, but we all are virtually meeting each other. And today we have excellent panelists, esteemed guests, diplomats, government officials. I think today ICHR has done a wonderful job. And I would like to compliment Gaurav for taking this lead, and even Malhotra ji, those who have taken the lead to make us build the bridges together with Africa on Africa Day. So I again wish Happy Africa Day today to each one of you, and let us celebrate it all the years to come. Not only today, we need to celebrate it every day, and we need to celebrate it every year to come, this Africa Day. With these words, thank you very much, friends, and let us enjoy this webinar and the talks from the esteemed panelists. Thank you very much. Over to Gaurav Gupta.
Thank you, Madam, for sparring force for us. I'd like to invite our Secretary General, Mr. Malhotra ji. Please, Malhotra ji.
I welcome all the participants and heartily greet everybody on Africa Day. Today, we received a message from the Dean of African Heads of Missions in India, His Excellency Mr. Alam, who's here in India for the last 11 years. And he happens to be the ambassador of Eritrea. He has sent a special message, and in his statement, he says, at the outset, let me extend my appreciation for the organizers for inviting me to this important webinar discussion on the commemoration of Africa Day, Africa Partnership, and beyond. It is a great pleasure for me to deliver this message that happens to coincide with the 2020 Africa Day celebrations. Suffice me to note that Africa Day celebrations represent an avenue to recall and celebrate some landmark achievements of the African Union on various issues. The theme of this year's celebration is silencing the guns, creating conducive conditions for Africa development. The theme was decided by African leaders as back during the Golden Jubilee 50th anniversary of African Unions. And finally, he has a lengthy message, but in conclusion he says, let me take this opportunity to express sincere appreciation to that government of India for the varied support they are giving to the African missions and African nationals across the country during this difficult period. Let me also appreciate Indian Council for Human Relations for organizing this webinar discussions. Kudos to all health workers and other essential service providers for the wonderful job they are doing to fight this rather mysterious disease. As we say in Africa, this too small will pass. This is the message given by the Dean of the African Missions in India, who is not feeling well, but he patronizes our organization, and as such, the message is before you. Now, as a General Secretary of this organization, we have been involved since 1970, when there was a movement against apartheid or racial discrimination. Mr. Mullah, the representative of African National Congress, he happens to be in Delhi throughout. Dear brothers, May 25th is celebrated since 1963, when a meeting was called by the Ghana Prime Minister, President Nkrumah, and they thought that there be an organization. Basically, at that time, the 8 countries participated in 1963 and constituted Organization of African Union. But in process till 2001, most of the African countries, they got liberated. Almost 54 African countries were under the control of the Europeans, French, Germans, Americans. But once 54 countries got freedom and independence, 2002, the meeting was in Sirte, Libya. They decided to change this organization from Organization of African Union, because the aim of the African Union was to liberate, decolonize Africa, and at the same time to decolonize, and there is no apartheid, no racial discrimination. So an organization was constituted. Once the main objectives of Organization of African Union were met, after 36 years of establishment of Africa organization, in 1999, heads of African states decided to change this name to Africa Union. African Union was officially launched in July 2002, following the decision of September 1999 by heads of members of states of its new union, an integrated, prosperous, peaceful Africa representing dynamic force in the global arena. I must say that the role of our leaders during the freedom struggle of India, they always supported the freedom struggle of Africa. It was Mahatma Gandhi who was there in South Africa, 1893 to 1940. He said that I was born in India, but was made in South Africa. Similarly, Africans are proud to say that India sent a lion and we sent a Mahatma. Now, after the Africa Union formations, the government of India has a policy since our independence, before independence, took a stand to support Africa, and the role of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru was one of the remarkable role in getting freedom, because only in 1960, 16 African countries got freedom. And it was the Djibouti, the last country in 1977, Djibouti got the liberations. Now, what India has done, India has two platforms. One is called India-Africa Summit. The Africa-India Summit took place in 2008, and it was 14 countries from Africa, heads of states were invited to Delhi, and they deliberated and decided to continue this summit. And in 2011, the another conference took place in Addis Ababa, where our Prime Minister, Dr. Manmohan Singh, gave a line of credit of $5 billion. And again, 2015, the third conference, India-Africa Summit, took place in Delhi, where 55 all heads of missions of African Union were invited, and 32 heads of missions participated. The Prime Minister Modi declared that now there is a $10 billion line of credit for the development of Africa. So there are three stages. One is African Union, projects of Africa as a whole, regional cooperation, $600 billion we have given. Our past president has internet connectivity with all the African countries. So with these things, now there is another channel also, Exim Bank. Exim Bank, CII, they continue annual conferences, which is called Trade Forum Conferences. Every year there are agreements is being signed, and we are in a position to help, assist, cooperate as an equal level. We, the people of India, the government of India, considers that they are equal to us, and what we want to give them, what they need. If they need, we are there to help. So at this day, on this day, the 25th May, we congratulate the people of Africa. We congratulate the all ambassadors African ambassadors in India, and all the participants who have taken trouble to say something in solidarity with the people of Africa. And we have, during this COVID also, we have selected 17 projects to support and supplying materials, medicines, everything what is possible required is sent by the government of India. We are thankful the people and government of India for their support.
Thank you, Malhotra. Malhotra, we have got our...
Thank you very much.
So I thank everybody for participating in this conference.
Yeah, we got our charge of affair of Gabon. We got ambassador of Namibia.
For 1 minute, can I come in?
Yeah.
Yes, I appreciate Malhotraji's concern because he wanted to explain everything in a very, very detailed manner. But we have so many esteemed guests today, panelists and the speakers, that we need to listen to them. So I will request all the speakers and panelists, please, we need to listen to everybody. So please just make sure that we are not taking much of time and we can say our message in a short matter of time, please. That's my request to each one of you, and welcome you all on behalf of ICHR, being a chairperson of Indian Council of Human Relations. I welcome each one of you, and really we are looking forward to listen to you. Thank you very much. Over to God.
Thank you, madam. We got ambassador of Namibia with us. We got a diplomat from Burkina Faso, Mr. Harbidi Kolibri. Welcome. Charge of affair of Gabon. Welcome. I'd like to invite our Member of Parliament, ex-Minister, Mr. Alfonso because he has to leave early. So please, sir, give us blessing.
Good morning, everybody. Eid Mubarak. May there be peace in the world. May there be peace in our hearts. May there be happiness. You know, these are tough times, very, very difficult times. And I'm extremely happy that the Indian Council for Human Relations is organizing this, this webinar. I thank Mr. Malhotra ji, I thank Gaurav, and also the chairperson for organizing this. I think these are times when we need to get together, express our views. What's going to be the future? Because the future is so uncertain. We don't know where we are today, frankly. Nobody knows. What's going to happen tomorrow, we absolutely have no idea. And what's going to be the future relationship in terms of international trade, international relationships, movement of people, exchange of culture, we have no idea because as of now, we don't communicate because people don't travel anymore. The only means of communication is digital, so I'm very, very happy to be here. See, India and Africa, we share the same kind of a legacy, colonialism. We were exploited, and we were looted. And our people were also looted. I don't want to explain more because it's a sensitive issue. We were one of the richest countries in the world prior to the 18th century. In 1700, India's GDP was about 20% of the global GDP. And when the British left, India's GDP was less than 2% of the global GDP. So you know what happened. The same with Africa. All the African countries as of today were hugely exploited. Their land was captured, their women were captured, they were exploited, and all the wealth of the country was taken away. And with great difficulty, we all came together and we have now one freedom. Now, freedom is something which is in the mind. Do we decide to be free or do we decide still to be in chains? The problem is, I think a lot of us are still fettered. We don't think we can do more. This is the whole problem. I think this is where the big changes have to come. Each of us have to believe, whether in India or in Africa, that every child born today can achieve whatever he wants. So this is where the entire importance of education is. I think any country which is in a bad shape, which really needs very large number of people to be taken out of poverty, needs to focus on education because it is a young generation which has to dream big. And what is that dream? That dream says, I can make a difference to this country. I can make a difference to the world. It's not the prime minister. It's not the chief ministers. It's not just the presidents. It is just not members of parliament. Each of us, every child who is born must realize that, yes, we can make a difference to the world. And this is where I think India and Africa needs to come together. Today, there is a new form of colonialism. I don't want to mention the country. And that country expects to be the new colonial empire of the world. They are building infrastructure all across the world, connecting Asia, Europe, and Africa. I think we must have to be very, very careful. We don't want a new form of neo-colonialism where we are going to be exploited in trade, where people come and take our assets, buy our raw materials cheap, and they manufacture and they bring back to us at X amount of the price. I think, Your Excellencies, members of this webinar, let's be watchful, let's be careful. Our country belongs to us. Let's not mortgage it to anybody else, to any other people. Yes, we all need money. We understand. But you see, Africa has such amazing resources. If there is one continent which has all the resources of the future, I think it's Africa. I think this is where we need to get together, have that strong determination and say, yes, we shall overcome, we shall develop ourselves, and we shall let our children dream. So let this India, Africa, this huge friendship where we all get together, let it all begin today with letting our children dream for ourselves. And I hope this webinar sets the foundations for that. Thank you very much, and have a wonderful day on this huge, big festival of humanity. And let's all learn to be happy and learn to live with each other peacefully and happily. Thank you.
Gaurav.
Yeah, thank you, dear brother.
Gaurav.
Yeah.
Can I make one line of ahead that Mr. Alphonse is going to be head of one India-Africa organization.
Yeah.
Very soon it is coming up very early.
Thank you, Malhotra ji. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. We'd like to request you to stay as much as possible as you have time. And now we request our Excellency Major General. Oh.
Okay.
Yes.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'll try to be as brief as I can. I want to thank the Indian Council for Human Relations for this webinar that they have organized. I would suggest that any other time this kind of thing becomes necessary, that a brief be written into the concept paper so that everybody will familiarize himself with the background. If you familiarize yourself with the background, then there will be no need, reading the history of India-Africa relations because everybody would have known about it before. Now, a lot of people will talk. The member of parliament, I will listen very carefully to what you were saying, and I think I understand where you are going. The challenge that we face is that of building infrastructure. You cannot compete in the modern world without infrastructure. Now, infrastructure is generally not something that you build piecemeal. If you want to build a railway from here to Mumbai, you cannot build it over 50 years. So you have to get money to build a railway from here to Mumbai to move your thing. And most of African countries, they manufacture, they get primary products, mining products, agricultural products and all that, and they need to move them to seaports and so on and so forth. So they need ports, they need railways, they need internet of connectivity, they need the broadband penetration in villages and so on and so forth. They need schools. Now, all these things take money. And that is the reason why some African governments have gone into some kind of what you are referring to now. So we hope that such a thing, solutions will be found that can be mutually acceptable to all. Now, there is something in management schools called the SWOT analysis of strengths, weaknesses, opportunities. So let me just go through what I wrote here about SWOT analysis as it relates to Africa and what role India can play in the post-COVID world. I said the strength that Africa has resources, population, that you have mentioned, and then the awareness that is now coming in Africa with exposure to the globalized world. Those are strengths. When you come to the weaknesses, everybody knows that technological backwardness, poor infrastructure, governance issues, corruption, and the possibility of the debt trap that you are referring to. So we are all aware. Then if you now come to the opportunities, I have three things here. One, the post-COVID world will force Africans to restart, to start thinking again. I can give you an example. Big men, the people we call big men in Africa, some of them who came outside to get medical treatment got caught up in the COVID problem and they couldn't go home in various parts of the world. Some who are in Africa, if they get sick now and they can't be flown out, they have seen that the healthcare system in Africa needs to be upgraded. So nobody has to tell them that. People now know that it is not the quantum of money that you stash away in Swiss banks. They don't mean anything when they check it out. So the COVID, which is a game changer, that is more of a game changer than even 9/11, like you say, is going to usher in a new world whose direction people don't know where it is going. But we are hoping that the African leaders and also the commoners, that they will wake up and demand more accountability and efficiency, improve their politics and their governance system. Then when we come to threats, then the second one is that the Western efforts, the efforts by the industrialized West. Anytime you watch CNN or BBC or whatever, what is going on now is an effort led by America to lessen the reliance on China for their supply chain. So if that continues, Southeast Asia, quite all right, is going to be the first beneficiary, but we hope that that the spillout will also go to Africa. You know, so that is another opportunity. Then the third opportunity is the Vision 2063 of that the AU has issued, which I'm sure you know about. The important thing about Vision 2063 is that it is a collective vision by Africa as a continent. In other words, they are now integrating their views on the world and then seeing how to work together as Africa when they deal with the third parties in the world. So all those are opportunities. Finally, what are the threats? The threat is, one, will Africa be the new frontier in the new Cold War that is brewing? We all see what is happening in the South China Sea, and then we see the trade war that precipitated what we're having now, you know, and we see the saber rattling. Even this morning on television, on CNN, I was seeing, you know, the comments of some people as to development in Hong Kong. So we all know what is happening. We are hoping and praying that Africa, if that there is not a renewal of the Cold War this time now between America and China, and secondly, that if there is, that Africa does not become one of the battlegrounds. So that is one threat. The second threat is far-right nationalism and racism. You know that that COVID is reinforcing nationalism. You know, look at what happened in the European Union, for instance. Far-right nationalism and racism go hand in hand. You know that. So those are threats. Now, so finally, what can India do? First and foremost, I think that India needs to change its business model, especially in education and medical tourism. What Indians are doing is to encourage Africans to come to Indian schools. Now, the contraction of the economies that will follow COVID-19 is going to make it very difficult for African countries to get the foreign exchange to be sending their students en masse to Indian institutions. So that means, and I've been invited to many universities, and anytime I go, I tell them, people come here because Nigeria is a big country. People come here to solicit for students to come. And I say, look, the best thing that you should do is to go into partnership with African entrepreneurs and establish campuses of your universities in Africa. Because for any one student that comes from Africa to India, there are more than 30 others that are testing for education. So that is the first one. Then when you come to medical tourism, I was talking with an Indian yesterday, and he was telling me that he has a friend who runs a hospital. And what they are noticing now is that the attendance in hospitals is about 10%, very high class hospitals in India here. So, and people are not dying. So this thing is going to change the way people look at medicine itself. And so a lot of people are going to realize that most of the hospitalization that they go to is entirely unnecessary. So what that then means, if the hospitals now go into partnership with African entrepreneurs in Africa to build their branches, it's going to pay them. So that then finally, the second one is they need to develop a new paradigm for project financing. You know, all this talk about the line of credits. Line of credits go to government with the sovereign guarantees as the security. You know, and that adds to national debt burden. So what I am suggesting instead is that Exim Bank can begin to lend to Indian investors directly, but then use their assets in India as the collateral, not sovereign guarantees. Then the African governments themselves will now come and sign on that if there is anything that comes in as a force majeure, which originates from a government policy, then from government policy as opposed to business vagaries of the business environment, then the government policy, the government will now be held liable. So Excellency, please, can I, please? So then the last one is, please, the last one from me, kindly educate your population positively about Africa. What I noticed in my 2.5 years here is that the diaspora who have seen the world, the people in the foreign affairs who have dealt with Africa, the intellectual class, some of them, you know, they have open minds, but the majority of your citizens, honestly speaking, they don't have open minds when it comes to Africans. And I think one of the reasons is that there isn't enough education of the commoners here about African values, especially using Hindi channels. So I thank you very much. This is, but before I sign off, let me go back to just one statement about the history of African decolonization. We all know, you know, what Gandhi, the motivation that Gandhi gave to our leaders, and that is why we will continue to respect India for the anti-apartheid struggle, for the non-aligned movement, for everything. So the relationship is there, and if the right policies are pursued, it is going to grow in a geometric fashion. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Excellency. Thank you for patiently listening. I'd like to welcome our ex-ambassador, Rajanji. Rajanji, welcome. We got our Consul General from Bangladesh, the Consul General of Uganda, Mr. Mohammed Hussain. Happy Eid to you. Welcome, sir. I would request Excellency Zimbabwe, before Excellency Zimbabwe, our IFS, Mr. Mahavir Singhvi has to leave. Mr. Singhvi, please give a brief and just wish.
Thank you, Gaurav, for inviting me for this webinar to commemorate the the Africa Day, which is organized by the Indian Council for Human Relations. So my congratulations to you, and I wish everyone a very happy Africa Day. Africa Day is intended to celebrate and acknowledge the success of Organization of the African Unity, that is AU, from its creation on this day in 1963 in the fight against colonialism and apartheid, as well as progress that Africa has made while reflecting upon the common challenges that the continent faces in the global environment. Historically, India has also been a part of Africa's movement of self-rule, growth story, development and capacity building, which are marked by mutual respect and affection at the grassroots level. India's diaspora has been instrumental in development journey of the continent over 4 to 5 generations. No wonder Africa gifted Mahatma Gandhi back to India, transforming him from a mere barrister to an intrepid fighter against injustice and colonialism. Even though India has stood for the cause of Africa since our own independence, and even before that, its concerted engagement has been somewhat ad hoc, which was in nature till right that time, now got institutionalized through the India-Africa Forum Summit, which I think one of the speakers had mentioned earlier. So that's one of the very important aspect of the relationship between India and Africa. If I recall, Prime Minister Modi, while speaking at the Parliament in Kampala in July 2018, outlined his Africa vision through his 10 guiding principles. That included, of course, Africa among the top priorities for India and momentum of cooperation to be sustained through regular exchange, development partnership, preferential access to Indian markets for all African products, assisting in harnessing digital revolution in Africa, improving Africa's agricultural potential, fighting climate change together, working together to keep oceans and maritime lanes free for all. Africa becoming, instead of a theater of competition, should also become a nursery for its youth and aspire and work together for a just, representative, democratic global order. These were some of the principles which were outlined by Prime Minister Modi. And these are ideals and achievable and collaborative policies that dictate, I think, a paradigm shift compared to the other powers which are working with Africa. India has also invested in the continent following a sharing and caring model of cooperation free of conditions and prioritizing the need of the African stakeholders. Of course, we have announced 10 billion lines of credit in the third India-Africa Forum Summit. There was also an announcement of 100 million Indian Development Fund and 500 million grants, and apart from 50,000 scholarships. So these are, I think, some of the pillars of which shows the kind of engagement which India has with Africa. And I'm sure in the time to come, it's going to go further. Once again, I wish everyone a very happy Africa Day and a very happy. And thank you, Gaurav, for inviting me this.
Thank you, sir. Pleasure, sir. Thank you very much. And now it's time to hear from our very dear friend, Ambassador Zimbabwe, Dr. G.M. Chipare.
Namaste.
Namaste, Excellency.
Namaste.
Eid Mubarak to my Muslim friends. And congratulations to India on the appointment of Honorable Ashfadan, the Minister of Health and Family Welfare, at the helm of the World Health Organization Executive Board. That speaks to India's diplomatic clout and antecedents at a global level. Permit me to mention Dr. K.L. Malhotra, the General Secretary of the Indian Council for Human Relations, and you, my dear friend Gaurav Gupta, as an able curator of our event and treasurer of the ICHR. As a representative of Zimbabwe, a country that won its independence through the unflinching support and solidarity of African brothers and sisters, today I pay tribute to our forebears who, in their collective wisdom, successfully launched in 1963 one of the miracles of the 20th century, the Organization of African Unity. With their foresighted actions, they wrote a chapter in world history that heralded the emergence of Africa as a force to reckon with in global politics. Indeed, this enterprise against colonialism was not an isolated African enterprise, as it encompassed a host of global actors who were part of the global anti-colonial struggle, who in varying degrees supported the liberation struggle. India distinguished itself in this regard. Going to the future, India has strong historical links to Africa. India has been and is part of Africa, given the sizable number of Africans of Indian extraction who are contributing today immensely to Africa's development agenda. India supported robustly the struggle for independence and freedom on the African continent. We all know the exploits of the great Mahatma Gandhi and his influence on the liberation struggle in Africa and elsewhere in the world. Prominent Africans of Indian extraction sacrificed their lives for the freedom of the continent. This history is written in blood. It is indelible. Therefore, the links between India and Africa are historical and organic. And in my humble view, COVID-19 or not COVID-19, India is a tried and tested friend of Africa. I have no fear for the future, for our links are inextricably intertwined. It would therefore be a travesty to anchor the appreciation of the future trajectory of India-Africa relations on such an ephemeral unknown like COVID-19. The jury is still out even on what COVID-19 is or will pan out to. I'm cautioning against unfettered speculative politics or political voyeurism. Africa relations have a solid organic structural framework undergirded by Agenda 2063 of the AU and the IF and the India-Africa Forum Summit framework. The challenge is to walk the talk. I thank you so much. Forward, Tanya.
Thank you very much, dear Excellency. Before I
Thank
call
you.
Zambia, I'd like to invite our dear friend from Bangladesh, Mr. Mohammad Hussain. Happy Eid to you. Mr. Hussain, because he has festival today, he has to leave early. So I'd like to call him. Mr. Hussain, please unmute yourself. Happy Eid. Please share your views. Unmute yourself. Mr. Hussain, we cannot hear you. Okay, we'll get back to you later. Our Excellency, Zambia is with us. Welcome, Excellency.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav. Thank you. And Eid Mubarak to all our Muslim friends. And I would like to pass my gratitude to the General Secretary, Mr. Maotra, for this invitation. And I would like to emphasize that our first president, Dr. Kenneth Kaunda, got his inspiration from the mighty Mahatma Gandhi to bring our independence to the table. Mahatma Gandhi was a great inspiration. And to talk about independence of Zambia, it would not be fair to not mention the great influence of Mahatma Gandhi. I would like to remain to the coined issues to do with liberation of Africa and indeed the India-Africa relations, especially in the wake of the COVID-19 pandemic. I want to appreciate first and foremost India's diligence when this pandemic occurred. The Ministry of External Affairs of India and Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, Government of India called for a meeting with all the diplomatic corps who are resident here in India, all the UN agencies inter alia to discuss the issues of COVID-19 pandemic and propose steps in that particular meeting so that we were able as diplomats to give submissions and to seek clarification of how India, in relation with the diplomatic resident in India, we are going to move forward. And I wish to further appreciate the measures the government of India has put in place in terms of preventive contact tracing and treatment measures to stem the spread, morbidity, and indeed mortality associated with COVID-19 pandemic. The Indian government has given regular updates to all the diplomats and ordinary people through note verbals, the media, etc. And I have not seen such a diverse way of dealing with this pandemic. There has been no discrimination whatsoever on the basis of race, religion, standing in society. COVID-19 is also not a selective pandemic, and the public health threat it poses will indeed affect the lives and livelihood of everyone, leaving no one behind. And the government of India in this regard has made it a point to do everything possible to keep everyone aware of the steps that they've put in place. And indeed, as High Commissioner of Zambia here in India, my diplomatic staff and also the locally engaged staff and other Zambians living in India, we wish to offer our unflinching support to support the efforts of India in curbing the pandemic and do everything possible to fight it together with India. In terms of political relationship with India and Africa, and in this regard, Zambia, we have witnessed high-level visits to Zambia of the President of India, and the Prime Minister has visited other countries in Africa as well. And this indeed is to ensure that we develop and renew our relations. And India, in this regard, continues to cooperate with Africa to silence the gun in order to create conditions favorable for investment by participating in peacekeeping operations in Africa. India has further continued to side with Africa during international affairs on global platforms. And my country, as well as my staff here in India, we shall play and continue to put all efforts together to ensure that our bilateral relations continue to move from strength to strength. I thank you.
Thank you, Excellency. Like to invite Charge Affair of Gabon. Excellency, welcome.
Thank you very much. I wish to all of you a very good end of Ramadan. Eid al-Kabir, I think. Eid al-Mubarak, yes. I'm sorry, I'm not a Muslim, but I'm trying to be accommodated. Thank you very much for this very interesting meeting concerning the future of India-Africa. And I just heard the previous panelists, and I would like to give some view concerning my person. And I want to commend today, especially the government of India. The government of India has been very involved during the COVID-19 pandemic novel, and it is very appreciative because, like Excellency from Zambia has said, giving us many informations how to tackle the COVID-19 pandemic at home, and how to stay safe was very appreciative, and it is always appreciative. And I can assure you that my government especially has been informed about all the efforts you are doing. Now, concerning the economic future between India and Africa, I would like to support what Excellency Eze has said concerning the change of the Indian business model. I would like to add to that view from Excellency Eze that Indian entrepreneurs of India should learn how to share their interest with the African entrepreneurs. What I want to say is that, for example, in my country, we have very interested Indian entrepreneurs there, already on the ground and doing business. But when Gabonese come here in India to invest too, because we know that you have also special economic zone here in Delhi, for example. We need to have a way to come to your special economic zone, like you are coming in our special economic zone in Gabon, for example. So this will be the right way to gain together, because business is good when each part is happy. This is second. And one of the panelists just said that we have to work together. Yes, we have to work together to gain together. To gain together in India, African gain in India like India gains in Africa. This is the future of Africa and India. A very fair business, a very fair one. And I would like to end my, my point of view about this very interesting moment with you, that 10 years from the 2030 agenda to have a satisfied development in our country, I think has been already demonstrated during this COVID-19 pandemic novel. Because Africa now can demonstrate that it owns itself, its own development. And I think that we will have a very bright future, and Africa time is now for me. So thank you very much. And I wish the best for India-Africa future.
Thank you, Excellency. Long live India-Africa friendship. Now we have with us our Honorary Consul General of Comoros, Mr. K.L. Ganju, who has been elected as the President of Consul General of India. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Gaurav. Before I say some words, because a lot has already been said by Excellencies, High Commissioners, and a beautiful narration by Mr. K.L. Malhotra. So I would like to talk about the heritage of Africa. Africa is a continent having about 54 countries, and the culture, the cuisine, and the love and affection showered by African people is unparalleled in this world. And the relationship between India and Africa have been great since time immemorial, and especially the relationship, the bilateral relationship between India and Comoros, which I represent for the last 15 years, have been at the best. So much so that the high-level delegation led by the Vice President of India visited Comoros recently. Recently means about 5-6 months back before the COVID. So I also want to thank Government of India on behalf of the President of Comoros and the Government of Comoros for assisting Comoros in helping in COVID cases, and also sending medicines, doctors, and PPE kits. For that, we are so obliged to them. The cuisine, culture, and the warmth of the people of Africa, like I said, is unparalleled, which I have witnessed on every African Day, which was celebrated in India since the day I became the Consul General. The African people are very lovely, and they know how to love each other, and they respect each other. So my kudos to them, and I would wish that this relationship, which is between India and Africa, continues to grow and continues to bless the people of both the continents. The population of Africa is almost, or little more than 1 billion. In India is also 1.3 billion. So we two put together is about 40% of the world population. We can do wonders if we have excellent cooperation and excellent bilateral relations between one India and 54 other countries. I think I should not take much of your time because there are so many other people to speak. So therefore, thank you very much for inviting me. And I wish all my Muslim brothers in Africa happy Eid. God bless Africa, India, and God bless all of us. Thank you very much.
Thank you for keeping it brief, Ganjuji. Now we turn for Burkina Faso. Sir, Welcome, Ji.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. Namaste. For this session, I thank the chairperson of Indian Council of Human Resource. I thank also Goro. I thank everyone. But you know, it's difficult to speak after my seniors, after Excellencies, High Commissioners of Nigeria, Zimbabwe, and the Chargé d'Affaires of Gabon. It's difficult to add, but I just focus my view on the background of the celebration of the commemoration of Africa Day. Because we can't speak about how to commemorate, when to commemorate, how to do it, and when to do it also. We can't speak about commemoration of Africa Day without speaking something about, little bit about these questions. So for me, it's very important to notice that Africa Day is an annual festival which is celebrated everywhere in the world. First in Africa and now out of Africa also. And this celebration is active for freedom, for liberty. And this celebration also, we can't speak about the Africa Day without speaking about African Union. African Union came from Africa United, Organization of Africa Unity, and after it has been African Union, and this union is now matching with other countries or other continents, because you have to notice that Africa is not a country, because when I speak with some Indian here, they think Africa is a country. I say no, Africa is not a country, Africa is a continent. And now what was the movement of the Dr. Kwame Nkrumah for Pan-Africanism. For this, they were speaking, they were trying to improve everything, to match everything together, and realize and achieve in Africa united as United States. So, today we have United States of America. If today we have United States of Africa, what will be wonderful more than this? Because everything we say in African proverb that united forces, if you put together your different forces, you are more strength than if you are alone. For economic purpose, for cultural purpose, for most of I don't know, historical too much, and go together with other nations. And it is for this purpose I will need that it is very important to improve this idea, okay? Because we are also saying that in India, Mahatma Gandhi has been a figure, historical figure, and we have inspired from many things from him also. And this is a question we have to put in the same box with India, okay? Africa, we are a continent, India is a country, but India is a country continent, because India is a very huge country, much huge with, you know, you have, it is a kind of a United States in India. If you take the governors from state to state and all together, you have a big India and strong India. For this purpose, we are celebrating this festival annually, and this everywhere. Every country has its national day, but for on 25th May, we all we gather everywhere in the one place to celebrate this for everyone. This is the context of the philosophy of gathering ideas, people, and how to push things in global Africa as one continent, one country. Okay, so we have to see Africa as one country. So I don't have to. I think I will not go far from this idea. This is just to recall people how Africa is, and for this commemoration also, we need to do it every day, every year. But this year, for the pandemic purpose, we didn't celebrate it physically, this festival. If not this night, it will be in one place in New Delhi here. All the embassy will gather and celebrate this festival of Africa Unity, Africa Union.
Thank you, dear brother. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Now we have with us from Bangladesh, Mr. Mohammad Hussain, Consul General of Uganda. Welcome, dear. Happy Eid.
Thank you so much. Good afternoon, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Africa Day. Eid Mubarak from Bangladesh. I'm very happy and thank you, Mr. Gaurav, to invite me to attend this program. We are celebrating Eid with in pandemic. In Bangladesh, situation is not very good. We are facing very hard time, but we are working day and night to improving our situation. Now we are working very seriously to Bangladesh Africa relationship. Especially, I want to inform all of our African friends. Bangladesh is a very good partner of Africa, many African countries. After independence of Bangladesh, we are trying to develop our relationship between Africa and Bangladesh. And last 12, 13 years, I'm trying to make bridge between Bangladesh and Uganda and working with many other African countries. Recently, I have been nominated Bangladesh Africa Chamber of Commerce President. So I want to inform all our excellencies who are residents in India, any kinds of support from Bangladesh, anyone requires, we can support from Bangladesh to develop our African and Bangladesh relationship. We have a common economy. We have a lot of experience, which one we can share to Africa. We have a lot of products we can export to Africa. We can import to from African countries. Especially, I want to inform our excellencies and our panelists. After this pandemic, or some of our Asian countries, we are going to have a big food crisis, food shortage. So this is the right time. The Africa is the place where we can grow our food and where we can develop our food basket, and we can bring back this food from Africa to our Asian continent, India and Bangladesh, many other countries. So this is the right time we come and hands together, we work together to build our relationship, build our Europe. We know Europe, America and other European countries is now economical condition. So Africa is doing great in this moment. So why not India, Bangladesh, or Asian other countries, Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Singapore, we can develop our relations with Africa and grow we develop our both nations together.
Thank you, Mr. Mohammad Hassan. Thank you very much.
Yes. Thank you so much. Thanks for your invitation.
Once again, we'd like to invite Mr. Namdhari from Consul General of Lesotho from Hyderabad. Welcome, sir.
Namaskar, Gaurav ji. Hello.
Gaurav ji.
Yeah.
Just one line I would like to say about Surinder ji.
Please.
Yes, he is a lion, past district governor from Hyderabad. And being a lion, I am welcoming him today for this webinar. And really proud that he has been able to join this webinar and he will share his thoughts. So welcome Surinder ji for this webinar. Thank you so much for your acceptance. Thank you.
Aruna ji, namaskar. Surat Singh, not Surinder.
Sorry, okay. Surat Singh, yeah, sorry. Yes.
SS Malhotra is better.
Yeah, SS Malhotra is better. Yeah. Malhotra ji. Great.
Namaskar ji.
we all are looking that it is a one-to-one business opportunities are there. There are lot of investment opportunities in Africa. We can get it. We can get many things from Lesotho particularly. I can say the weather is such a beautiful weather there. Just you visit there and you will enjoy it. Something you have to cherish later on. Business opportunities are enough. Depends on who is going to there. Seeking the government relationship is a difficult job many times, but one-to-one business opportunities are there. There are a lot of opportunities in education, in hospitals or medical side, or in development of agriculture. Whatever we can do, we must do. And hence, once we start doing that, we'll be knowing how nice people they are and develop the relationship which is unforgettable. Anji Gaurav ji.
Thank you, Malhotra ji. Now is the time for our Delhi Bollywood hero, Chancellor of AFT Film and Television University, Dr. Sandeep Marwa.
Thank you, Gaurav. First of all, let me extend my heartiest congratulations to each and everyone on this beautiful day of Eid. Happy Eid to everyone here. Eid is the wonderful festival of love, compassion, and relationship. Let me also congratulate everyone on this beautiful Africa Day. I'm very much deeply into Indo-Africa relationship because first of all, I am chairing the Indo-Africa Students Association. We have something like 2,000 African students in this organization from more than 45 countries of the world. I'm also chairing Indo-Nigerian Film Association and a patron to Actors Guild of Nigeria. All the His Excellencies, dignities, government officials, and my dear friends, my job is to support my Prime Minister in fulfilling his vision of having best of the relation possible with all the 54 countries of Africa. I'm very happy that we have conducted 14 international summits, and through these 14 summits, we have been able to tap more than 40 countries of Africa. We had delegates coming from 40 countries, and I'm so happy to build up a wonderful relation with them. Recently, we have also launched 54 scholarships from India to 54 countries of Africa so that people can comfortably come to India and learn film, television, and media business in India, out of which probably 14 scholarships, they have already been utilized also. When it comes to research, we're very happy that we have touched all the 54 countries of the Africa, and we have conducted 3 major researches, one in fashion, cinema, and journalism. And all of them have very well and very successful in their results. See, I'm a hardcore ground level worker, let me tell you. And I don't believe in making policies, I believe in executing the policies. And I'm very happy that my organization has been able to touch Sudan, South Africa, Senegal, Rwanda, Nigeria, Morocco, Maldives, Lesotho, Ghana, Gambia, Gabon, Egypt, Comoros, and Tunisia. These are the countries where we have already created a wonderful base. And out of them, 3 countries where we are deeply into it, Senegal, Nigeria, and Egypt. I'm very lucky that I brought my first international award from Egypt. We were instrument in conducting a festival of Indian cinema in Cairo International Film Festival in Egypt, and brought Indian film industry to limelight in Egypt. I'm very happy. I've already been to Nigeria 2-3 times, and we are in the process of conducting and opening a film school in Nigeria. I've been to Lagos, Abuja, I've been to Kano, I've been to Jos, and let me put it that the Vice Chancellor of Lagos University, Deputy Vice Chancellor of Jos University, Director of Nigerian Film School, They are luckily my students from AAFT University. They're touching such a beautiful position in Nigeria today. In Senegal also, in Dakar, we are in touch with the government, and the project is halfway through. We have already identified the location. Same with Nigeria in Kano. We have already identified the location, but because there were elections, so we could not continue to pursue with the rest of the project. I'm very happy that we still have many more scholarships to be delivered to the rest of the countries. We are open with all the 54 countries of Africa. We have only touched so far probably 15 or 16. We are open to work with the rest of the countries. There are a lot of things. We have a special space which we have created for all the 54 countries of Africa on a radio station. Indian radio station is ready to provide space to every country of Africa for their programs. They can come to us with the programs, and we would love to broadcast them on a national and international basis. We have a space on television. We would love to broadcast programs from all the African countries if they have ready programs touching the tourism, touching the business, their own speeches, ambassadors and high commissioners setups. They want to come, and we have ample space for all of them. I'm very happy that the High Commissioner of Nigeria is here, the Consul General of Comoros is here, and we have people from Burkina Faso, Zambia, and then Gambia is here, right? So we are doing our best. We have been, from last so many years, we've been involved in workshops, seminars, symposium, interaction programs, festivals, film shows, and we have left no stone unturned in projecting to the whole world that India and Africa, they are best of the friends, and we love Africa. Because remember, I think it's very important for people to realize that let this COVID be over. This is, I think, just a temporary phase, and we should not feel let down or cheated. But maybe a year or a year and a half, everything is going to be normal, and Africa will emerge as the most important place on this earth. Is going to offer best of the facilities possible to all the businessmen from all over the world. It's the most upcoming place in this world, and we should all be ready to have best of the relation possible with Africa. With all these words, I once again extend my heartiest thanks to all the His Excellencies who are present here, the diplomats who are present here, because without their cooperation, we would have not been able to reach where today I am claiming all that. And my Prime Minister is very happy, my President is very happy, and the whole organization is putting its best to have best of the relation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sandeep Marwa ji. We have Brigade Wing Commander Praful Bakshi ji. So we'd like to hear 2 minutes from you also, please.
Thank you very much. I'm Praful Bakshi, former Wing Commander. I'm also President of Asian Union, of course, just taken over, and we are, really starting the Asian Union after the demise of Mr. Agarwal. But what I have gathered now is that African countries by itself, it's a huge continent. There is no doubt about it. And it has been often repeated, I will not like to repeat how Africa has been exploited by the European powers, but the exploitation was world over. But the question is, still such time we don't wake up. I mean, we means we and Africa, we in Asia and Africa, because we have been in the same boat. Until we wake up, you will not be able to solve the problem like giving $5,000 billion to France every year. They are earning through Africa. What is this? Colonial debts. So these sort of things have to be sorted out. Now, to sort this out, it is easier said than done. It is the African countries which have to now take the lead. Of course, African Union was there; they have started it, and Africa Day has always said that we should do something about ourselves. But the question is, until and unless they get together, you will not keep the exploiter out. Now, exploitation is not only from Europe; it is also from Asia. There are some countries which are exploiting Africa in a very bad manner. I will not name the country, but they are, I have seen, because I have been to Sudan, I have been to Ethiopia, I've been training their armed forces, a number of African countries I have been, and have seen how China has taken over so many projects, whether it is the ports, whether it is the roads, whether it is the railway line. Nothing wrong in progress. They should progress. But the question is, exploitation should be washed out. So to avoid that, African countries have to get together. I would suggest that we are in a process of making the Asian Union a success. We are doing, but if we join together and meet more often, I will take this opportunity to meet the people of African Association also, Union also, wherever it is possible after this thing is over. But the second thing which I would like to bring out is, when I talk of exploitation, exploitation is in various things. Maximum gold, maximum diamond is of course in Africa. But how come that your currency of average European country and African countries 1:5,000 ratio? Now this sort of a thing has to be defeated. We have to make sure maximum exploitation is done, because the exploiter is taking advantage of friction between the African countries, and they're pumping in armament. The armament pumping which is going on, and wars are being created, and then they say, oh, we are liberating them. And I will not repeat all the massacres and all the tragedies which have happened. No, that's not the place. But question is, until this arms race is curtailed, it should not start from Europe. If at all the armament industries have to be developed, let the Africans develop their own armament industry. Let India, Bangladesh, all Asian countries get together and start helping Africans. If that be so, African countries and Asian countries will see golden days ahead. But personally speaking, I would like to bring this point up. The various aspects will come out. The most prime example, besides defense training and armament, that forget it. These are railways and the tourism. Is the railways and the tourism, and that, if that is developed properly, you will be surprised. You will have Switzerlands all over Africa. It's a fact. It's so beautiful places are there. Very few people probably will know that there are so many beautiful places exist in Africa. But the question is, this technology has to be transferred to Africa, and how the technology transfers is a joint program. Indian brain, Indian mind and effort and leadership, and African mind and leadership, they have been meeting for a very long time, from 1954 onwards. But I must say, it should now take a lead, and that is where we will see golden days ahead. With that, thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. We are short of time. Now it's turn for Mr. Subhash Goyal, Chairman of ICHR Travel and past President of Ethiopia Culture Center. Please, sir.
Well, thank you very much, Gaurav. Thank you, Mr. Malhotra. I think for organizing this wonderful event. Thank you, Arunaji, for coordinating everything. Friends, I would like to focus on two things. One, we have no choice, but in this Cold War between China and America, India and Africa have to work together. Secondly, you know, all the economic relations, political relations, exports, imports we talk about, that is only possible if we have a bridge between India and the whole of Africa. And I am very fortunate, by God's grace, that I represent Ethiopian Airlines, which builds a bridge between India and most of the countries of Africa and because of this airline, I have had the wonderful experience of visiting so many countries in Africa. And I really feel uh, there is a huge potential. There is a huge potential of working together. And as far as tourism is concerned, since the previous speaker talked about tourism, you see, there are about 30 million people who travel abroad every year. Before the COVID-19, I think Indians were the #1 spenders in Singapore, in Malaysia, in Dubai, in Sri Lanka, in Nepal, in UK, in Switzerland. And even in Dubai, after the economic crisis were there, it was the Indian tourism that brought back the. So Africa has so much to offer. They have the most beautiful sites on planet Earth. They have, it's a cradle of human civilization. The first human being evolved from Africa. Lucy, in Addis Ababa, there remains and is there in the museum. So, Africa is not just the, place for all the jewels, the gem, the gold, diamonds and everything, but it is also a place for unique culture. The culture, and that is why I had started the Ethiopian Cultural Center in Delhi. And fortunately, I'm thankful to the new ambassador that have again made me the in charge of the center. And we hope after COVID-19, we'll restart it with a bang. And we would like to invite all the African countries. We would like to have a regular food festival there. And Mr. Malhotra and Mr. Gaurav had been utilizing the center. And I'm sure it is your center, and you can again, make it a hub of cultural and economic activity between our, India is a subcontinent, Africa is a continent, and, together we shall overcome. Together we have no other choice, but we have to work together. We have to live together. And I'm sure Indians are very emotional people, and we have a lot of teachers in whole of Africa, and a lot of African leaders have learned a lot of are today because of the education that educational exchanges that have been there. But one thing on this auspicious day of Eid, I would like to tell all my Muslim and other brothers and sisters in India, in Africa, that we have to learn one thing from Ethiopia, one of the countries that I love, is that's the only country in the world where Muslims, Christians, and Jews have been living together for thousands of years, not in the same community, but in the same house, in the same family. One brother can be a Jew, the other can be a Muslim, and other can be a Christian. Now, these are some of the, great cultural things about Africa, the love, the togetherness that the whole world has to learn. And secondly, the folk dances. I mean, you can put rock and roll or to shame. The folk dances which are there in Africa are unbelievable. The vibrancy, the spirit of Africa is something which I think I have been to more than 160 countries in the world. I have not seen anywhere else on this planet. So there has been a time when the sun never set on the British Empire. Then it was time for Africa, for America, and now it's the time for Asia and Africa. So Africa is the future. So all my Indian friends, I tell them that if you want to work together, you have to work with Africans as partners, not the way the colonizers worked, but we have to be partners in progress. Whatever projects we do, it has to be a win-win situation for both of us. And together, Africa and India have a great future. And once again, I would like to express my gratitude to Mr. Malhotra, Gaurav, and Arunaji, and all of you who have organized this event, for giving me an opportunity to share my sentiments and feelings. And I can assure you that Ethiopian Airlines is at your service in the repatriation of people back to their homes. I think Ethiopian Airlines has played a very important role, not only from bringing Indian stranded in Africa to India and African stranded in India to Africa, and we'll continue to do that. And together we shall become a force to reckon with. And the biggest fight we need to fight is the war against hunger, poverty, deprivation, and exploitation. And let us on this Africa Day, and let us on this auspicious day of Eid, take a resolve that we'll fight hunger together, we'll fight exploitation together, we'll fight terrorism together, so that the world is full of love and affection. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Shivaji, we are also missing your Ethiopia centers, hospitality.
Sir, it's your center, Gaurav ji. आप तो biggest patron रहे हो हमारे center.
We are together. We're waiting for the soon to happen. Now it's time for our dear IRS friend who's listening patiently, and Mr. Dr. Castro, who is an instrument in the governing body of PP kit policy making. Yes. Castro, we cannot hear you.
Unmute करिए.
We have muted you. Problem from MCs. Castro, we cannot hear you.
Unmute.
We have unmuted him already. Castro, we cannot hear you.
Can't hear you.
Okay. Meanwhile, I like to thank you, our dear members, Madhuricha, we can see, Bambani ji, we see Captain Preeti, our dear from Baroda, Mr. Joshi, from Hyderabad, Mr. Gopal Moore, our from African body, Mr. Manish Bhatia, from SME base, Jitendra Chawla. Lot of dear friends are there from all across. Like to thank you them and welcome them. Mr. Kaso, can we hear you?
No.
Yeah, we have unmute you. Sorry. Subhaji, Sanjeev Goyal ji here.
Cannot hear.
Kaso ji, we cannot hear you. Sorry. Some technical problem is there. Engineer Ashish Gupta ji is here. If I'm missing somebody's name, please. I'm sorry. Now it is time to wind up. I'd like to request our chairperson again, Aruna Oswal ji. I like to share, everybody knows about her, but I like to share she is the Guinness Book of World Record holder for the largest donation in the Alliance Club International. She is serving the world, not only India, she is doing projects all across the globe and now heading the Alliance Club International Foundation Fund. Welcome, Aruna ji.
Thank you, Gaurav. Really sorry about some panelists who we could not hear, but I would like to just sum up in 2 minutes. I would like to thank, first of all the panelists, the great speakers, and all the members who have attended this seminar today, webinar today. I was just thinking to my mind that we always talk about that COVID-19 has come and we have not been able to visit each one. But I think virtually, today we have seen we can connect to so many panelists even out of India. So I think that is the best thing which we always call blessing in disguise. And I'm so thankful to Gaurav and Malhotra ji and all the technical staff, those who have taken a lot of efforts to put into this webinar to be a success. You know, a lot of things have come today with this webinar because all the diplomats, all the speakers, they talk about the positivity. You know, all positive thinking has come, and I'm so happy that everybody's talking about to build relationship with Africa. We already have a lot of good relations with African countries, but everybody's keen to build it more and more. So that is the best thing which has come out from this webinar. Second, to have business economically also, we need to now do it well with Africa, because we, India and Africa, we are like, you know, we can make a lot of relations with social causes, we can relations with their tourism, we can have relations with the economical, with business purposes. So we can do a lot of things with Africa, which has come out today with all the speakers and eminent panelists. I was very happy to see Subhash Goyal ji, very active for Ethiopian Center, even SS Malhotra ji, who is a lion, and I was very feeling proud that he was a diplomat and he is representing us in this webinar. And all the Nigeria, Zimbabwe, Gaurav, you have done wonderful because you have been able to coordinate with all the diplomats. Even Alfonso, Mr. Alfonso is a member of parliament. He came and addressed us. So everybody was so positive. I think one thing has come that we need to build the relations. We need to keep it on, whether it is COVID-19 or even after lockdown, after COVID-19, the relation which have been coming since so many years with Africa and India, and even Bangladesh. Mr. Hussain also spoke very well. He's with us. He said he's ready to partner with us for this relationship to build it together. So I think on a positive note, I will say that today's webinar was very, very successful, and we need to now look at it, how we can grow further, how we can build relationships with Africa, Bangladesh, and of course, India. Africa is a big continent. And as a lion, I can tell you, I have been actively participating in so many projects in Nairobi, Kenya, with our past directors there. And we are in each country of Africa. Our Lions projects are there. I already stated that also. We are doing a lot of work for African lions and African people. So I really urge that let us come together and try to build relationships, not only economically, but with social causes also, and with the lot of love and peace and happiness all around the globe. So with this note, I thank you all, and thank you the members who have attended today. They have been a great support to us always, and I need their support always. And we're going to do now more webinars on other relationships also, how we can build up relationships, how we can do our Child in Power project, how we can do the social causes, take it forward. So thank you so much, Gaurav and Malhotra ji again, and thank you all. So I think you all have to stay safe, take care of yourself. Definitely, virtually we are meeting now, but in future, I'm very hopeful we'll meet soon again in the meetings as we used to meet before. Thank you very much all. Stay safe.
Thank you, ji. Malhotra ji, it is time for you to conclude the things.
Yeah, I, on behalf of Indian Council for Human Relations, convey my thanks to 18 speakers of the day as a whole. And every speaker enlightened us in one way or the other to better and improve relationship in days to come. With these words, I thank Mr. Gaurav Gupta and especially our chairperson, Mrs. Aruna Oswalji. And I thank everyone, especially 7 or 8 diplomats participated. And also I am thankful to the Dean, who's not feeling well, given a 3-page message, which I read 2 lines. So with these words, I ask Gaurav to conclude this seminar, and we will declare some other webinar on some other subject. And I hope all of you will be again there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Malhotra ji. I'd like to say thank you to everybody. Your love and blessings are always there. Our chairperson Aruna ji and Malhotra ji is our mentor, and excellencies from Nigeria, Gambia, Gabon, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Burkina Faso, Comoros, and many more were there. Bangladesh, our Lesotho Consul General, and we got Ambassador Rajan also, who left us early due to some technical error, and lots of our dear friends from IFS and IRS fraternity, our dear friend Mr. Kamal, Madhuji, everybody. Thank you very much, and keep your blessing and love as forever. Stay happy and keep safe. Thank you. Goodbye.
Special thank to Gaurav for coordinating this webinar so well. Thank you, Gaurav, for your efforts.
Thank you. Your blessings
within a time frame, she managed.
Yes, within a time frame.
So he deserves appreciation.
Happy to all. Celebrate.
Thank you. Stay safe.
Oh.
Bye.
Take care. Bye.